Happy Father's Day, everyone, and to you too as well, Dad, because I'm joined by my dad right now for a Father's Day special in which we're discussing Fortnite. Yes, I know this really doesn't sound like it makes any sense at all. We rarely cover Fortnite on the channel, but it's something my dad and I have been getting into a lot recently, and I had to talk about it. So, Dad, happy Father's Day to you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, son. Thank you.
Oh, that's great to hear. And especially, I imagine, after what you were telling me before this, where you won two Battle Royales back to back?
Yes, I know it's amazing.
Wow, yeah, I mean, that's amazing to me to hear, considering you just started this game a little over a month ago. I did basically myself as well, because me and my sister were visiting you, and we threw out the idea of, hey, why don't we have Dad try Fortnite? He seems to like third-person shooters, like Last of Us or Resident Evil 4. What if we had him try this free-to-play Battle Royale? And oh, the reason why we thought that was because they had just introduced a no-build mode, which, kind of simplifies the gameplay a little bit, so you don't have to build, buildings and towers or whatever else. And it kind of like just, makes it more akin to what you're used to, where you're just, you're running, you're shooting, and that's basically it. I mean, there's other stuff there too, of course. But yeah, so I wanted you, Dad, to share your experience with our audience today about how you, a 70-year-old man who didn't play video games at all up until just a few years ago, really, somehow got into Fortnite and is now what seems to be possibly your current favorite game.
It is absolute. I would, son, I'd almost say this that, in my opinion, out playing all the games, I mean, really top quality games, Resident Evil 4, Last of Us, and Breath of the Wild. I am absolutely thoroughly addicted to this game.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, I love it.
Because you play, what, 6 hours a day, every day of the week?
Just about.
That's nuts. Like, that's a lot of gameplay, and I believe you already have way more wins under your belt than I have myself, even. But what's fun about this is, I mean, for one, I think Fortnite has basically like changed our lives. Like, not just in the gaming sense, but like, we're playing together online constantly. We've been playing over the last few days even, and it's amazing to be able to play a game with you online, which is something we've never done before. And I should stress too, like, I want to drive this point home. Like, you've never played an online multiplayer game before, let alone a battle royale. And in case our audience doesn't know, like, we've done Father's Day specials before where we talked about games you were playing, because growing up, like, you didn't play games at all when I used to live there. In the house, when I was growing up in your house.
Right.
But it was only until Resident Evil 4 came out on the Wii, where you had the Wii pointer controls, where I'm like, okay, Dad enjoyed watching me play Resident Evil 4. I wonder if we could get him into the Wii version. Because you guys had a Wii, of course, everyone did, for Wii Sports. And I thought, okay, maybe Dad can actually try an action game. And I still remember, like, having to have you practice running up back and forth along that opening trail just to help you understand how a control stick worked. How holding it forward would move you up, and things of that nature. And it was a long road. I mean, I'm sure you remember, Dad. You remember those days of, like,
Oh, I remember, son.
yeah. Yeah. And Resident Evil 4, you became addicted to that. You love playing it. You still play it even now on. You were most recently playing it in Oculus Quest, the VR version of Oculus Quest, right?
Right. Yes. Right.
Which I know you were loving as well. But then after that, we slowly started getting into other games. Like, I think we moved on next, eventually. It was a few-year gap there. We got you into Breath of the Wild on the Switch, and then from there I got you a PS4, and you started playing Last of Us 1 and 2, and I think a few other games like Tomb Raider. But the thing they all had in common is that they were all single-player experiences. And so, I mean, I remember you'd always show me new tricks and tips in these games and whatever else, like things you discover from playing them ad nauseum. But you never played an online shooter game before, and it was only when my sister and I, as I said, were visiting, that we thought, I wonder if Dad could maybe get into this. It's free to play. It's a third-person shooter, and there's no building now. And it's the game I really hadn't even played myself. But my niece is super into it. My sister's daughter, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe Dad could get into it. So, do you remember? And this is just a little over a month ago now. So, Dad, do you remember what it was like with your first experience playing Fortnite when we were there?
Right. Well, first off, when your sister mentioned it, my neighbor plays these military games, right? It's first person.
Yeah, your neighbor, not my sister's neighbor, to be clear. Yeah.
No. My neighbor. He's retired and he plays these military games. Well, of course, I can't do that. So when your sister mentioned Fortnite, I'm going, oh boy. I'm thinking this is going to be one of those first shooter type games.
First-person shooters,
yeah. Yeah, but lo and behold, it was third person. I went, wow, okay. And then once, told me what buttons to push and what have you, I found that the mechanics of this game really great. And the other positive thing about this, because you brought up two good points, The building part of it, thank God they have a zero building platform, which I love,
Yep.
and you can use gyro now. Your
Right.
controller, and that is a godsend for me because, as you know, I shake a little bit. I'm not necessarily steady with the joystick or whatever you call it. Uh, so it's absolutely been a very pleasant experience for me.
Yeah, no, I mean that's amazing to hear. I mean, it really goes to show how important those accessibility features are. Like more and more games are adding them. I know you enable them in like Last of Us, so you don't have to like you. I think you auto collect everything in that game, for instance, and having gyro controls is a really good thing here. And what's great is like the timing of this is all very fortunate or serendipitous because like as I mentioned, for the no build mode is brand new to the game. I think gyro controls were only recently added, I believe, as well. And then also other movement options were just recently added to the game too that I didn't even realize. Like I believe sliding, you know how you can slide down hills, that's a new thing. And then
Right.
they increased the movement speed as well, I think, recently. So really, it seemed like just a perfect time that we chose to have you try this game. You know, again with the introduction of no build. So how did your first match go though? Do you remember when we first had you try it? Like because this was even before you enabled gyro controls. So like
Yeah. Right.
what did you think of that first match? Like playing, your first, at least what we thought then, your first online game against like 99 other people.
Right. Well, first off, as my play was pathetic. So, absolutely pathetic. And so when I won that first round, I made the comment to you kids, man, there are a lot of lousy players out there. And then your sister said to me, well, Dad, a lot of it is AI,
Hmm.
so kind of designed so you'll win.
Right. Yeah, it's
Well,
it's a little insidious almost. Like I mean, on the one hand, I get it, like it's kind of nice. Like they don't want you to like if you just get stomped immediately, like people might just quit the game. On the other hand, it's like, hey, I just won, but then you find out the truth. It's like, well, I feel less good about that now, right? So
right. But it was great because it gave me the opportunity to practice, if you will.
right,
And son, the reason I didn't play games early on with you kids is that I found, the controls, all those buttons, as I've shared this with you before, very confusing.
right.
God knows how many there are. But anyway, the other beauty about Fortnite is the mechanics of it. It's just easy. Because I got the PlayStation. But that's another beauty of this game. You don't have to be, especially at my age, I don't have to worry so much about a bunch of buttons to push to enjoy playing this game.
Well, you
So,
say that, but there are still like a lot of buttons in the game. You have jump, you have slide, you're running, you're shooting, you're aiming down the sights. Like there is still a lot to it, and I think in your case, what might probably help is the fact that you've had so much experience now with not online games, but with third-person shooters, whether it be Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, Last of Us 1 and 2. Like the mechanics are, I guess, when you look at it in an overall sense, aren't all that far removed from the games you had already experienced, right?
well,
So
that's
you're
yeah, good point. I will say the aiming with the gyro and the aiming part again. You're right. And playing other games most certainly has helped. But I don't know. So I always made a comment to you. When you leave one game to go to another, you have to relearn
right.
all the buttons to push. Well, I found this Fortnite just so easy. Like the learning curve was almost non-existent. If you, it's just that the buttons are for different games, and for me, trying to remember which button to push. But boy, Fortnite I thought was very easy for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly still amazed that not only did we get you to play it, but that you're loving it as much as you are. Just because, like, I never could imagine a day where you're playing an online battle royale and winning against people, and it's a game that we can play together. Because what's funny, Dad, is since we got you into playing it, it's actually brought me and my friend group into playing it too. Like, none of us played Fortnite before, but I'm like, well, crap, if my dad's playing it and having this much fun with it, maybe I should start trying it myself. And now I'm addicted to this stupid game as well. Like, I'm playing it almost every day, which I almost never do with the game. And my friend group has gotten into it as well. So now you've actually played with us now, where we go out as a squad, and we have
Right.
all four of us out there, like, and we've actually won a few matches that way too.
Right. Well, now bear in mind, of course, I am nowhere near as talented as you guys are. Okay, because and I really enjoy it. I tell you, son, I think I really enjoy also about this game is that you and I can play together in it. and it's like in real time. It's amazing to me. There's no delay.
Yeah, it seems
It's
instantaneous.
instantaneous. I remember when you first said to me, "Hey, Dad, we can play together," and I'm thinking to myself, the old days where they split screened it,
Hmm.
one character here, one character there, but no, both characters are in the same environment together. It's just wonderful. And I will say, of course, you're a better player than I am. You're more aggressive. You see things that I can't.
Well, I don't know.
You're
I don't know
more.
if being more aggressive is necessarily always a great thing, but
No, no, but oh, I remember this, son. When we first played together, when our first time doing duo, we won first place, the royale. We won
right,
it.
that's right.
And I remember the comment you made to me, "Geez, Dad, it's the first time I won in duo."
Yeah, I was even winning with my friends here, who play games like all the time, and yeah, it was only with you that I've won now a ton of them. Like we've won, I think 4 or 5 times now as duos, which is amazing.
It is amazing. So no, it's really. I think for us, a father and son, I think it's just wonderful that you and I have something really neat to share together.
Yeah, no, it's really fun how it's come like really like full circle. Like I remember like or super when I was a super young kid, I do remember like you'd very occasionally play like a game with me when I was really young. Like there was a Super Mario Brothers or something. We'd play 2-player, and I don't think you were ever. I mean, what's hilarious, Dad? I mean, I don't think you were ever really good at that game. And what's funny is like it's hilarious seeing you now like in Fortnite, like jumping around, like sliding down hills, shooting people in the head, and then like a game like Mario is still like beyond you. Like you just can't handle that. It's hilarious. I don't get it. But no, it's amazing to me too. Like I never thought I'd see the day where we play games before like Wii Sports or whatever, and those are fun. But never thought we'd be playing a hardcore like online shooter game with each other together, and it's amazing. Like it's brought us even closer together. I think
Yes, I absolutely agree with you, Andre. Because father and son, we have different interests, you and I, but you and I have always gotten along great together. But it's really neat that we have something that we both enjoy. We work as a team. I kind of deem myself your backup guy. I mean, I'm not, it's a miracle to me I even win. A miracle.
Well, and that kind of speaks. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead, Ed.
I was just going to say, I have to use a different strategy than you because, again, I'm not that great at aiming and shooting. So I use more of a conservative way of play for me to win. And when you and I play together, like I say, it's amazing that you see the bad guys before I do, and then you take care of it. It's amazing to me. Bang bang.
And I mean, I think that kind of speaks to the one of the strengths of Fortnite too, and maybe why it appeals to you and me as well. Is there's no right way to play this game. Like, I mean, the fundamentals are simple. Like, you point the gun and shoot. Like, that's the basic core of the game, of course. But
Right.
everything else surrounding it is completely up to you. You can play it. You can play it stealthy. You can like sneak around and hide in bushes or in houses and like inch your way to victory that way. Or you can take a more aggressive approach and like try to target people as they're trying to gather items, or just you can dash into a war zone if you want to take on the whole squad of people. I mean, you can hop into a vehicle and drive away. You can grab a tank and start shooting people from afar. Grab a sniper rifle.
Right.
You can grab a Rift to go and like teleport yourself into the sky and fly elsewhere. You can. I mean, there's just so many ways to play this game. Like in the previous season, I was grabbing balloons and flying around, while shooting people with a sniper rifle from the sky or being shot down more often than not.
Right.
Or right now, they just added. I don't know if you've tried it, Dad. They just added the Spider-Man like grapple. I forget what it's called. Where you can like Spider-Man yourself around like trees and whatnot, and it's
right. I've seen that.
yeah, and it's so fun too. Or they have the orbs you can roll around and like grapple yourself around the environment with. Like there's so many ways to play this game, and I haven't even touched on all of them. And it's always changing too. So
Right.
do you think that's part of what appealed to you, like the fact that you could kind of play this game how you wanted to play, or?
Absolutely, because I will tell you this: there are some, no, some, I'm sure many. Because I think you're sharing with me, but I don't know how many million play this game. But
I
there
think
are some
concurrently they've had up to 16 million people at once not too long ago.
My God, it's amazing because there are some outstanding players, outstanding that there's no way I can hold a candle to them. The only way I can take them down is if, let's say, I'm in a bush and they not being aware I'm there.
Yep.
Well, I'm prepared. So when they come in, man, I let them have it with my favorite weapons,
Right.
and that I'm able to win that way. But boy, some of these players are so incredibly aggressive. Plus, I'm not the greatest shot in the world, and if I don't have the best weapons, I'm gone. Poof.
Right.
You know.
So yeah, do you have a favorite like strategy or method you have for the game when you play, or?
Right. Well, what I find interesting is when I go to my favorite place to start, um, I don't have a shield except the 50 that you get, coming down. You get the 50 on the shield. I'm able, and I'm fast to find weapons. That's number one, the green ones.
Yep.
And more, no, most of the time, I'm able to take out the individuals that try to go after me, to take them out, which is amazing to me. Now, here's a mistake I do see with maybe they're newbies, I don't know, but they take white weapons, just when they, let's say, land in the same area I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I ignore the white weapons.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. No, my whole focus is to get at least green. And I'll run. I'll give you an example. Here I am. I'm in my favorite place. I don't have a weapon. This individual's shooting at me. I run around. I find a treasure chest, open it up. Son of a gun, one of my favorite guns. It's there. I'm ready. And take them right out.
Well, yeah, so like for me, like I play a little differently. Like I'll grab the gray ones just to hold me over until I find something better, because you never know. Like you may not find a green weapon. Sometimes you can get screwed by the randomness of.
Well, that's true, but that is true, son. But geez, if I have a white going against or a gray going against green or purple or what have you, I'm out.
So yeah,
Done.
so I guess you just kind of like stay away from people then if you don't have the weapon you want. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I do it, because you're only allowed 5 spots to store stuff, and I'm still learning that part of it too, and I'm a little clumsy, so I make damn sure that I concentrate on at least getting a green weapon.
Right. What's oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say my favorite weapons are the hammer, the 2-shooter, and when I get the Stinger submachine gun, if it's let's see, purple or gold, I definitely keep that also in my arsenal. And then the last 2 boxes I use for medical kits. Yep. And the shield. Yeah. And so that's how I play.
Yeah, it's that 5 item limit is such like a smart and also annoying mechanic. Like it forces you to constantly evaluate, like, what do I need right now? What weapons do I want? Like I never have enough room. I want shields, I want health, I want guns. I also want the warp, the rifts to go, the warp to the sky if I need to. I want the shock grenades so I can fling myself across the world. There's so much going on.
Oh yeah.
And what's funny, Dad, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I know you expressed some hesitation to me saying this. I wanted to tell people. I don't think enough people are gonna watch the video for it to matter. But what's funny is you and I individually came across our favorite drop zone, our favorite area to start the match in.
Right.
And that's the Aztec pyramids.
Right.
The temple area.
Right.
So I don't think so. People, if you hear us, don't follow our strategy. Dad doesn't want to counter a lot of you out there.
Right.
But I just thought that was funny. We're playing the same game together. We individually arrived going to the same location as our starting point usually. And again, I just thought just funny that we're already in tune to that degree. So.
Well, I think how I found it by accident, Andre, is since when I was beginning the game and being a novice, my strategy was not to jump out of the bus. Wait till everybody jumped out. Then, and that's how I kind of mistakenly discovered it. The bus was going what I call the volcano, and behind the volcano are the, the temples or what have you. And I jumped, and I kind of found it by accident. But I went, wow, this is a great spot to start. So that's how that came about.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what is it? What do you think it is about Fortnite specifically that keeps it coming back, day after day, hour after hour? You've done, I think last I checked, I think you had over 600 matches in the game.
Correct.
Yeah. So what is it? What is it about this game that has you so hooked on it right now?
Well, okay. When the games in my history are AI, right?
Yeah, you play against. Yeah, it's a single player games. Yeah.
Correct. A single, and if you replicate, and I'm sharing this with you, if you replicate the same kind of motion of your character, let's say like Leon in Resident Evil 4, you kind of can predict the reaction of the individuals, let's say in the town or what have you, right? But in Fortnite, you're talking about individual human beings who think differently, can make a change on the spot, right? Whereas with AI, it's pretty much fixed. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still incredible, but with the human beings in your and 100 of them, uh, that's the beauty of it. You just never know where they're going to be because each game is different. You can be in the same location
Yep.
and it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I think that's part of what makes it so fun and addictive is like you never know what to expect. Like even though the world is usually the same, though they do change that too. Like they just changed it recently a bit.
Right.
The every match is always going to be different, whether it's based on where you drop, where everyone else drops, what items you have, how everyone reacts to you. Like you can't just always use the same strategy over and over and over. It's not
Right.
always going to work, and you may not always end up in that a place where you can use that strategy because you also have the shrinking arena, with a storm. So you
Right.
always end up somewhere different too. So you have to improvise. So you're constantly it's constantly challenging yourself and your awareness of what's around you and how to best make use of it in order to try and take down your opponents.
Right, absolutely. And I remember your sister making a comment to me. She was saying, "Well, Dad, you should play this because it's good for your brain." So I went, "Okay, that's a good point." So anyway, yeah, that's beauty. That's another thing about this game, Andre. You just bring this up. The conditions that I like choice of weapons, finding weapons. Do you have health? Do you have shield? Where's the locale of the bad guys out there? And that's constantly changing based on their own strategy of moving. As the circle shrinks,
Right.
and what steps are they doing? So you gotta watch out all over the place.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, and I have to say too, Dad, it's hard to like nail down why this is. But I played a game like Fortnite before. It was called PUBG, Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, I think. It's Fortnite. It actually existed before Fortnite, where it's also 100 people in a match. It's a first-person shooter though, and you're all trying to win to the end.
Right.
But I enjoyed it for the few hours I spent with it, but it didn't hook me in the same way Fortnite has. And
Right.
there's just something about Fortnite that like even when I'm losing, even when I get my ass kicked, it's still a really fun time. Like I'm still having a blast out there.
Oh yeah. And,
Whereas,
and I made the comment to you, son, that if you're one who wins the game all the time,
yeah,
well, that's not a challenge. That's boring.
right.
No, in this game, there is no guarantee you're going to win. I
No.
mean, there are excellent players out there, but it's a toss up.
So it's hard to nail down why this game is just so fun. Like because it isn't just about the winning; it's just about the playing. And I think part of it is it just feels so good. Like I mean, I just love how the core controls feel when you're running around or sliding down a mountain. Like just everything feels very snappy and very fluid and responsive. And I'm
Right.
one who's big on like how games feel in general. So when a game like this, when it feels just fun to just run around, like that's already starting off at a really good point. And again, I think it helps that our timing is perfect in that they just upgraded the movement of the game with the slides and the faster run speed. And I'm like, wow, we came in at the perfect time apparently because I don't know if I could have if I would have liked it as much before, and especially in a pre no build world. By the way, have you accidentally ended up in a building match by chance yet, or?
No, as a matter of fact, I have zero interest in it. So I don't care because that's one additional mechanic that I've got to then learn. I saw your sister doing it. I went, oh boy, is there a way I can just play this game and not build anything, in the build zone? And she said, oh yeah. But now that they've got the zero build section, heck, the hell with it. I don't want to play the building. No, I have zero interest. So no, I'm absolutely happy playing the no build, solo, duo, whatever squad,
Right. Yeah, it's kind of wild. Like it took so long for them to finally do that because the game's been out for over 5 years now, I believe, or about 5 years at this point. And they just now added the no build mode, which I think they were hesitant to for the longest time. Maybe because it was a key point of separation. Like it definitely was a unique aspect of Fortnite compared to other games. Like very few other games allow you to build entire skyscrapers, in seconds. But the thing was that, and again, I know a lot of people love the type of game, of course, but it's a huge barrier to entry for those new to the game. Like, there are people out there that can build, like, you shoot them once, they have an entire, like, they build a Taj Mahal in 3 seconds, you know, and so there's nothing you can do. Like, you just can't compete with that unless you sit down and practice for hours on end. And then there's the fact that, too, a lot of the gameplay eventually devolves into the same type of thing, where you have 2 people, or, you know, a handful of people going at the very end, and it just comes down to who can build the best tower and shoot from it. Whereas now with the no build option, it's made it way more accessible. Like, it has you again. It brought you into the game. It brought me into the game. I never thought I'd play Fortnite, and I'm sure that's the case for tons of other people out there. Like, I would love to hear from our own audience, like, if no build brought you into the game, because it's just a simpler type of game, but not necessarily, I think, an easier one, because now it challenges you in a different way, where you have to use the environment around you. You have to be aware of what's going on. You can't build your environment. You have to be aware of what's around you to make use of it. And I love that. Like, I just very much enjoy that, and I love that Epic, the company that creates Fortnite, I love that they permanently added this new option to the game now that really fundamentally changes how you know, not only how you can play it, but who can play it. And I'm so glad they did, because, again, it's brought you into the fold. A 70-year-old person who didn't play games for the majority of their life.
Right, Andre, you've really hit it here. That's the beauty of it, too. You're absolutely dead on. You have to, as a player, now use the environment, let's say, as your strategy, let's say, of hiding or what have you, the houses and sheds that are provided for you to explore, or using them as a defense. That happened to me once. There was a fella in a shed waiting, and I didn't notice, and whammo, I'm gone. You know? So, no, but that's absolutely perfect, is that, for me, not that building business, you can really enjoy the environment and take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, and to that point, I actually had, you mentioned how a guy was hiding in a shed, and I had a moment like that yesterday, which reminded me of another moment I sent you a video of, where I was in a squad, or no, not squad, I was playing in a trio match, so there were 3 of us, but we're in the final part of the match. There's one other team, one of our teammates was down already, and the two of us were holed up in a small room, where we could hear the other team, like, running around us everywhere, like, looking for us, and it almost felt like we're in a horror movie, you know, we're, like, terrified, we're, like, in the corner, like, holding our weapons at the door, and then when they finally found us, like, once the circle shrunk enough, we just blasted them through the door, and it was just so fun. It was just like you have moments like that you know, stick to mind, that no other game has quite given me to this degree, especially with how varied those memories have been. But I was wondering, do you have any memories that stood out to you, like any parts that you remember, like, oh, I'm like, oh, that was hilarious, or I can't believe it turned out that way, or
oh wow, there are, man, in this game, wow, it's tough to say. It's like every game is incredible. I'm just, well, I remember one time when I started off, there were only 2 of us left, and the other part, the enemy was under a bridge, and just lo and behold, a rifle was waiting for me, which I picked up, shot at him. He didn't see it coming. So that is my first time that I won. So, of course, I remember that. And then, of course, today, Andre, I had 2 wins. And first time I've ever done this, you know, you came down to that tight circle, right? There's no room anymore for air. I hid behind, the storm is coming right in.
Okay.
I hid behind some logs, and the other party, the other individual looking for me, stepped right into the storm. And, of course, it killed him. And I did that twice.
Wow.
Twice in a row. Unbelievable. I never had that before, where I won 2 rounds because the opponent stepped into the storm, you know, trying to find me.
Right.
You know?
Well,
so,
man, I haven't even won 2 matches in a row yet. I only have I don't even have that gold crown emote that you have, which I'm jealous of. So yeah.
Yeah. So I found I took the gold crown today. You know, the other opponent, you know, it was on the ground, so I picked it up. Yeah. So that's another interesting strategy that one can use the weather as the your offense.
Right.
So if you hold steady, because I've noticed sometimes that the storm doesn't come in evenly. So it may encircle you know, the upper part, let's say, of the circle, while the bottom right still has a nice gap where you can still ride it out. And then it forces, let's say, an opponent in the other side, I guess, in panic mode, go right into the storm.
Things get like heated. They get panicky in those final few minutes, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like, when you're down to the final few people.
Oh, and that's the other thing. Okay, let me also say this for your audience. I tell you, you ask what it really, and since being 70 and I don't exercise much, it absolutely for me is, how do you put it? It just gets my heart beating, like getting to the end.
Yeah.
It's like a, whatever the proper word is for it, but it's like keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah,
My
it's
heart
exhilarating, right?
It's exhilarating. My heart's pounding, bang, bang, bang. I'm shaking with my controller.
All right, well, maybe we should have you do more cardio so you don't have a heart attack while playing Fortnite or something.
Well, lucky you, I'm in the cardiovascular program. But anyway, yeah, that's another thing I love about this game. You don't know, and let's say I'm trying not to, shoot anyone, but they come at me. Well, what choice do I have? I'm going to have to fire back, even though I may not be that crazy about doing it. You know,
again, that's what I love about the game too. Like it's constantly changing moment to moment. Like you have those, it can start off slow, it can start off intense, but then like you'll have a period of lull where you can do some exploring, go find some stuff before you're thrown back into the action again.
Right.
And it's always a little bit different. You never fully know what's going to happen. Like it could be totally calm for the first 15 minutes, or it could be insane from minute one. You never quite know what's going to happen.
Oh, well, that happened to us yesterday, Andre. Do you remember when you and I we were in some, I forget which game we were in, but we went, holy moly, this thing was just exhausting.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that. The following game we did was far more easier. It was calmer.
Right.
We were like, getting close to being killed all the time. And another thing too that happened to me: you grab a weapon, right, and all of a sudden you haven't had time to find others. An opponent comes at you, bang, 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 and you're shooting back, and you run out of ammo. Now that happened to me. It's happened to me maybe 4 or 5 times, and man, I start running looking for treasure chests to get a weapon.
Right.
And I've done that, and lo and behold, I gave myself enough time running and grabbing it that I was able to take on the opponent.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I just love how many options there are in this game, how many ways there are to play it, how different the game's always feeling. It's just such a ton of fun. Constantly.
Ton.
Like, I remember one of my, a game hasn't gripped me like this in, like, a long time, as I was saying. I played for 8 hours a couple weekends ago. Like, I just played for 8 hours in one day. 4 hours by myself and 4 hours with some friends. I'm like, I've not done that in forever. But yeah, I was going to mention, too, I think part of it, too, Dad, I think it reminds me a little bit with how open and how varied it is. It reminds me almost as if, like, a little bit of a multiplayer version of Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Breath of the Wild is like a whole world, you can do whatever you want, and this kind of feels like a multiplayer version of that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you there. There's no restraint other than the storm coming in.
Yep.
Other than the storm, you're absolutely correct, Andre. You can go all over the place. That's another thing I love about this game. I'll be in my favorite spot, and I realize, if there are opponents coming in, I'll take what I can and hightail it and, go to my next section where I know where there's a lot of treasure chests to get a weapon. So I use that kind of a strategy. But yeah, that's the next beauty of the game. Now that you mention it, right, I was just thinking the same thing when we were talking about that it's like a Breath of the Wild where you can go anywhere.
Exactly.
So yeah, another reason I love this game. And so when you and I wrap up on this, where am I going to go? I'm going to be playing, and Mom is now a Fortnite widow.
Oh, poor Mom.
Yeah. So as you know, since Mother and I are retired, I do stop playing at 2:00 because Mom and I then play board games,
Right.
And it's fair to her so that she doesn't feel isolated all day because I'm just playing Fortnite. Well, for example, I woke up this morning at 5:00. I read the paper real fast, started playing, and I didn't stop till I think 11:00.
That's amazing! Wow,
it is. My thumbs are getting sore.
Wow, yeah, you might need a break to give your thumbs a chance to recover.
Yeah, true. Yeah, very true. Well,
I do love. Go ahead.
I have a little bit of break in the morning. We do take the dogs out for a walk,
Yeah.
So, and then I come back and start up again.
Well, I do think it's funny that you go from like this really hardcore, online shooting game to what might be an even more ruthless game, being Monopoly, when you play with Mom.
No, it sounds crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I go from right shoot 'em up game to something calm.
What I guess just to kind of like start wrapping up here, is there anything else about the game that you appreciate? Like I guess because the game has a pretty distinct visual style. Like you have all kinds of characters running around, you have different music playing. Like, what do you think about the overall presentation of Fortnite?
Oh, I let me tell you, when you kids first told me, well, now, Dad, the graphics are, maybe not that on par. My God, I think the graphics are amazing, just fantastic. And so I'm thinking to myself, how do they produce a game like this for so many people to play on? I mean, the computing power, and the like you and I playing in the environment together, and the leaves and the trees and the water, when you're swimming and what's underneath. Geez, and I just love it. I think the game is just absolutely wonderful. Just nothing but praise for this game.
And what do you think about the variety of characters you can play as and come across?
Another interesting comment I was making to you. I kind of dawned on me when you see all the different skins.
Yep.
I when I see skins that I know I can't get, then I know that these are older players, right?
Right.
So they've got a lot of time under their belt because I don't have access to their skins. So that kind of, because there are a lot of neat skins out there.
Yeah.
So when I'm saying, wow, that looks great, but, like the guy, I wouldn't want to be this, but, like the blue banana running around.
Yeah, we encountered the banana yesterday. It was just hilarious. I think you were when we talked, I mean, we encountered the banana, right? You're like, we got the banana, we shot the banana. I forget what it was. It was just hilarious. Like, just taken out of context, like how absurd it sounds,
Yeah, I know. So I would not want to be a banana skin. But anyway.
Yeah, and and as Father's Day, my sister actually got you a gift card for Fortnite. So you bought the Battle Pass, and now you've been working your way through that. And and there's a ton of skins you're gonna lock in there. The final one I think is Darth Vader. That's the final reward for this season. And I don't know if you saw, they're adding an Indiana Jones skin in a couple of weeks. So
yeah, right. I kind of saw it. Correct. I don't know where I saw it, or maybe it was on YouTube. But yes, I did see that's going to be another skin that's going to be available. So.
I was just thinking back to real quick to some of my favorite memories of playing with you recently, and I think maybe it was yesterday when we were in the desert. Like we start off in the desert just for a change of scenery because it can get like intense there randomly, and then like the storm was was like shrinking to the opposite end of the map, so we'd hop in the car. We each hop into a car. We're just storming across the desert, like running into trees and hitting fences, and we're trying to like get back into the safe area. And
but add a little bit more of a comedy thing to this for your fans. Okay, André says to me, because I'm a klutz here, guys, I'm just a klutz about even driving. So André says, André is in the car. I said, well, what car are you in? He says, I'm in the red car. Well, okay, well, I jump in a red car, but he's not there, so I have to drive my own car. So here it was. I'm in the other, and anyway, it's a miracle that I drove that thing.
Yeah, we made it. We made it safe and sound, so we survived.
Yeah, we did. That was fun. That was fun. So no, I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm glad that you and I can play, together in this game. I just think it's wonderful, André.
Yeah, it really is. Like it's Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say if there's any other fathers and sons, maybe gamers, and if they haven't been introduced to Fortnite, it may be something that they would experience like you and I do.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point because the kind of joke, or like what's where I'm looking for, maybe not stereotype. I forget the widely people, when people think Fortnite, they think of like 12-year-old kids playing it, right? They don't tend to think of like older players too. Like I'm probably in the older side. I'm sure I'm in the older side of things, playing it myself even. But I just came across a thread on Reddit a few days ago where people were like, "Are there any other older Fortnite players out there?" And I saw people like, "Oh yeah, I'm in my 40s playing this game," or late 30s or 50s even. I saw parents in there. But I think that you might. I think you've got to be on the upper end though of the age bracket. And I'm sure there's other older people playing it too. But like, it's amazing that that a game like this is accessible enough that someone like you, who's never played an online game before, let alone a battle royale, is not only able to play it and have it fun, but they're able to compete as well. So yeah, I guess do you have any? Is there anything you would say to I guess other people out there who've maybe thought about playing it but haven't, or any advice you might give to older gamers who maybe think
Well,
it's beyond them, or
yeah, good point. Because your dad's, I was had the attitude, well, I can't play because all the buttons and stuff. And once I got over that hurdle, I find it totally enjoyable. And again, I think for seniors that perhaps have never played a game like this, and having my PlayStation 4, thing, which I really enjoy, and I know you gave that to me on Father's Day gift, which was wonderful. I love it. Anyway, if I don't think, what? I don't think really there's even an age barrier on this game. I mean, I see myself playing it till I drop dead. So, I mean, I'll be in the hospital playing this thing. Oh, no. I got to tell you a cute little story here real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, Mom, I don't know where she heard or she was speaking to somebody, a gentleman, I think in his 50s, who's playing. And of course, he's like me, not an ace player, right? And he realizes he's got these, probably younger gamers. He can tell. Well, what he did, he hides in a bush and he throws out a gold weapon, right? He throws that on purpose, and he waits for any young competitors coming and blows them away.
That's hilarious.
What a strategy!
Setting a trap. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was a cute story that Mom told me.
That's a cute story. Yeah. Man, I would have totally fallen for that. Like, I see a gold weapon, I'm running for it. I'm like, I want that.
Oh, it happens to me. I mean, you see those group of weapons, and I'm sure, I've run to them, and whammo, I get nailed. Because an opponent is just waiting. They perhaps see really good weapons in that group, or there's shields, or there's health kits to attract an opponent. Yeah. And that's happened to me. I don't know how many times I go up there and go, bang, I'm gone,
I think one of my earliest wins, maybe my first even, I think it was a win. But the part I remember was I was in the final few, like the storm shrunk to a very small portion, and I was just trying to get cover. Someone was shooting everywhere. I'm like, I gotta get out of here, and I ran into a bush, and I without realizing there was someone already in the bush too, and they're just staring at me they didn't expect someone to just hop in there with them, and I think I had time to take them out first. But we're both confused. Neither of us were expecting the other to be there.
Yeah, well, that's happened to me too, where I'm in the. Oh, it happened to us, André, on one of the games we were playing. It was just us and another, and you were making the comment as we were coming out on the beach, and you said, "You know what, Dad? I think they're hiding in the bush." And sure enough, wham, we were gone.
Yeah, it's. I never thought that I would be I never thought I would get into Fortnite, and it's so awesome that not only have I been able to, but I've been able to with you as well, and that we're playing it together, and it's such a fun time. So I'm so glad we're able to talk about this today, Dad, for Father's Day.
Yeah, I remember, son. I called you. I don't know. I think I called it the following day or after, and I said, "Oh my God, this is like an addiction that I've never had before." And I think you made the comment to me that your roommates now are addicted to this game. And so, I just love it. I just love it. I am just thoroughly addicted to it. So,
yeah, that's amazing to hear. Again, I never thought even recently this could happen. But had you told me when I was growing up that, oh yeah, your dad will be, will be playing Fortnite or a battle royale, competitively, or he's actually winning and everything in the future, and you're playing with him, I would never believe that. And yet here we are all these years later, and when you're 70 and playing games and having a blast. So
I'm having a blast. I'm just loving it. I'm glad that you and I can play. And don't get me wrong, André, I don't mind playing the squad. And but for me, again, my eyesight's not that sharp. Sometimes what happens for me, in squad mode, is I get so confused because you guys spread out.
Yeah, we had so many teammates.
Yeah, teammates are all over the place, and I'm trying to figure out, where are you guys?
Yeah, and that reminded me of one final point I wanted to bring up was that there is a lot of depth to this game. There is a ton to it. There's so many weapons and elements on your screen and strategies and maneuvers. But I think what works so well with this game is you don't need to know all of it right away. You can we're still learning things about this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you're the one who actually keeps me informed of. For example, one of your roommates were saying that they. What was it? They reduced the efficiency of the combat.
SMG, yep.
Yeah, and I think the Stinger, I think they call it, is a superior machine gun to have. You know, they make changes in this
Right.
game. And with as I was sharing with you, that MK, what was it, MK 300,000, whatever, that was in last season. Well, they took my favorite weapon away from me, you know?
Jeez. Yeah.
So,
The
and,
nerve.
yeah. So now I use the hammer and hopefully the hammer and the two shooter,
Yeah,
fighting.
the two shotgun, I think it is. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, correct. And then, of course, it's difficult finding gold weapons. It can be difficult sometimes to even find that two shooter, you know?
Right.
So, well, anyway,
Yeah.
son, I can't think of anything more to add.
I think we covered it, Dad. So,
Yeah.
well, thanks for, thanks for hopping on with me to talk about Fortnite. Again, a game I never thought we'd ever discuss on the channel, let alone with my dad, which is kind of amazing that we're able to do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, happy Father's Day to you, Dad, and happy Father's Day to everyone else out there. And I guess I'll see you online in Fortnite soon.
All right. Thank you, son. Oh, guess where I'm going after we wrap up?
Gee, let me guess. Fortnite?
You guessed it.
That's a real reason why you want to wrap up this discussion. You're like, all right, I'm done talking about Fortnite. I want to go play Fortnite.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, son. Well, I love you. Thanks for putting this together.
All right, love you too, Dad. Thanks. Yeah, happy Father's Day. It's been great playing with you, and I'm looking forward to many more. So, and with everyone, thank you for watching our Father's Day discussion on Fortnite. Hopefully, you can get out there, play with your fathers too, or at least go talk to them, enjoy them for the day. And with that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time with perhaps more Fortnite goodness at some point. We'll catch you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.